Hey guys, what's up? This is another declutter video. I apologize that this second video has taken a while to go up this week. I promised 3 videos, but if you can't tell, I'm sick. I woke up with a cold this morning. I plan on doing my favorites, but I just don't even want to be like on camera right now. My face is just like swollen and puffy. So we are going to do my eyeshadow declutter video. I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. I believe I'm starting off with 85 to 86 eyeshadow palettes. I'm just gonna give the disclaimer now. Eyeshadow palettes are kind of like my obsession, so I have a feeling I'm going to have a hard time with this one. Lip products and single eyeshadows were definitely more easy for me to declutter. If you haven't watched those yet, I will have them linked down below. Starting off with this first palette, this came from the holiday collection last year. I do have an entire video coming up very soon of this year's holiday collection. I'm not even gonna lie, the shadows in this palette aren't the best from like the other Tarte palettes that I've tried, but the packaging of this one is just too pretty for me to let go. I did do reviews and breakdowns of the Tarte collection last year that I'll link down below or annotate right up here in the corner. I do think that the products that came in this little single separate palette that came within this palette actually performed better than these ones. I don't know what it is, but these were definitely softer than these. Both of the Tartelette palettes I love. I feel like people either love these or hate these. The Tartelette was the first one, and inside you have all mattes. I'm not going to be swatching this one just because there are a million videos. And then the Tartelette in Bloom, you have a mixture of mattes as well as metallics. I love these two shades down here, Leader and Rebel. They're just really nice warm crease colors. Then I have 3 of, I don't know if these have like actual names within the Tarte line. This one is called Be Your Own Tartist. This definitely has cooler shades. As you can see, there's some nice purples in there. I love the blush that comes in here. Tarte blushes are definitely some of my favorites. Let me zoom you in a little bit. This blush here is called Unearthed, and as you can see, it's just a really gorgeous kind of like neutral blush. It's stunning. Once again, another cool toned palette, which I don't have too many of these just because I personally always gravitate towards warmer shades. This shadow down here is supposed to be like a shadow and liner in one. That one I will say is pretty chalky, but the other shadows are pretty good. And then this one is a full matte. I actually like these shadows more than the matte shadows in the Tartist palette. Plus this blush is stunning. It's just a gorgeous like pinky shimmery peach. However, this one I am going to be getting rid of. This one is just called the Showstopper Clay Palette. While it is nice because you have shadows, bronzer, blush, and highlighter in one palette, these swatch nicer than how they apply onto your eye. This shadow here is stunning. I wish I had it separate, but I am sure I have tons of other shadows very similar to it in other palettes. It's kind of a rose gold, but these two are actually pretty similar on the eyes. But I'm going to be passing this one along just because I hardly ever use it. Moving on to NARS, I have 4 palettes. I am counting Z palettes within this video. This is kind of like the NARS version of a Z palette. You can build these on NARS website as well as I think NARS boutiques. So I did an entire video showing you everything in this palette as well as swatches. One of my favorite shadows in this palette though is Persia. It's this gorgeous like vivid orange. Definitely holding on to this. This is the Narcissist, I think SMOKEY. Yeah, SMOKEY eye set. This came with a brush as well as one of their small longwear liners. It was like $58. I did receive it as PR. It definitely is a nice trio. It's perfect to travel with to create a smoky eye. But I do have, I don't think I have Bali or this one, but I have other similar shades. Hands down, the best color in this trio though is Mekong, and I actually have that in this palette here, so I am going to be passing this one along. Another palette that's similar size, this just came out in the summer, it's the Long Hot Summer eyeshadow palette. This definitely goes on the eyes better than it swatches. I feel like the swatches aren't that impressive, but they're definitely beautiful on the eyes. I love these 2 metallic shades here. They're stunning, so I'm going to be holding on to that one as well as this palette. This is the, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that because yeah, I'm just not going to. So here are the shadows in here. As you can see, there's a gorgeous array of colors. Definitely has more of a selection of cooler tone shadows, which typically I go towards warm shadows, but I still really like the colors in here. This green is beautiful, so I'm going to be holding on to this one. So out of the 4 NARS palettes, I'm keeping 3 and getting rid of 1. Moving on to my LORAC palettes, I have the Mega Pro 2 and 3. Unfortunately, I missed out on the 1. These are limited edition, so this was the one from last year. I feel like this one didn't really get as much hype. I don't know if it was just because people thought there were so many of these lighter shades, but they're all different finishes. I actually really like this palette. The shade Tangerine, it really sticks out for me, so I'm definitely going to be holding on to this. And then this one just released I think last week or the beginning of this week. It's an Ulta exclusive. I think this one has more people's attention than the Mega Pro 2. This has a lot of warm shades. You have 2 full rows of mattes and then 2 full rows of shimmers. I'm not going to be swatching either of these just because there are tons of videos out right now with this, just because so many people got their hands on it already. Then I think the oldest one out of this bunch is the LORAC Pro palette. Mine is straight up beaten. Layden stepped on this mirror when he was probably like 3. As you can see, I've used a lot of these. Unfortunately, this one broke when he stepped on it, but I hit pan on sable, taupe, cream. White is pretty much gone. Nude is gone. I loved this palette. Honestly, I haven't used it in a long time, but I know it's one that I can always go back to, so I will be holding on to this. Then I have the LORAC Pro. I believe this is the 3, the one that came out last year. I don't have the 2, the one that's in the blue packaging. That one was definitely a lot more of cooler tones. I prefer this one. And I have both of the LORAC Unzipped palettes. This is the first one. I don't know which one I love more. It really depends what kind of mood I'm in. This one has more rose golds and burgundy shades. Love this, as well as the LORAC Gold Unzipped. I think more people prefer this one, but I honestly love both. The formulas are pretty much the same. One of these, I think it's Unleashed. This one is almost like a pressed pigment. It's like so buttery, intense, and metallic. It's beautiful. Definitely going to be holding on to that. I think the only one I'm going to be passing along is this one. This came in the holiday set last year. It's not a bad palette, but I just have lots of other colors. I honestly have lots of these colors as well, but I just don't find myself reaching for this one that often. Devotion, though, is such a gorgeous like metallic cobalt blue, but I'm sure I have a friend or a family member that will get more use out of this. So out of the LORAC palettes, we're keeping all of these and getting rid of this one here. Moving on to my Sigma palettes. I used to have a ton of these. I've gotten rid of several of them already. This one is Brilliant and Spellbinding. As you can see, it's made up of more warm tones. I love this shade here. It's kind of like a baby poop brown. I don't reach for it that often, but I do kind of want to start using it again because I remember using this a lot in the past. However, I know I like never use this one. This one here is Smokescreen. This definitely has more cool and neutral tones. I really do like this kind of pale washed out lilac shade here, but I like I think I've used this maybe once or twice, so I'm going to pass this one along. Moving on to my Jouer shadows. I probably could have included these in my single shadows since technically they are single shadows. If you guys aren't familiar with Jouer, they're almost like Lego bricks. You just kind of connect them all together. You can attach like lip glosses, powders, all that good stuff. This was one of the first palettes I built whenever I went and visited the Jouer offices. I love these shadows. They're pretty much all matte except for I think 2 of them. Definitely going to be holding on to these. And then I also have this collection that came out recently. Well, no, I guess not too recently. It was the Mermaid collection. These are just intense, like foiled type of shadows. Like they're so silky to the touch. This one doesn't quite feel quite as smooth as these other 3, but they are awesome. This one works great as a topper. Like if you were to use a black cream shadow and pile this on top, you get a really cool kind of holographic effect. So I am going to be holding on to all of the Jouer shadows. Next up, we have some small drugstore palettes. First up, this one is from the brand Nuance. This is Salma Hayek's makeup line. I believe this is at CVS? Walgreens. No, I think it's CVS. Clearly, I haven't even used this. I've had this for months now. I think I received this in the mail, so I'm going to pass that along to a friend. I have this one from Makeup Revolution. Honestly, I haven't played with this one too much yet, and I have a good feeling there's going to be several dupes in there. It looks very kind of similar to a mixture of a couple of the Urban Decay Naked palettes. So I want to hold on to this one and play with it more for a drugstore video. You guys already know I love this one from Milani. There's a couple shadows in here that aren't that great, but these 2 matte ones are really, really good. And it's always nice to have some options for drugstore videos. So I'm going to be holding on to this one. This was really the only CoverGirl one I held on to. The other ones, I have the rose gold one somewhere too. I liked the nudes and the roses. I didn't really care for the golden. So once again, it's just nice to have drugstore options. So I'm going to keep this one. I used this in a recent tutorial and several of the shadows were really good, but I don't know how many more times I will use it. Like 4 videos. It's not bad. I think it was only like $3.99 or $4.99. This green is actually really, really pretty, but some of the nude shades looked very similar to one another. So I'm going to pass that one along. Then I have this quad from Physicians Formula. I felt like back in the day it was really hard to come by good like transition matte shades from the drugstore, so this used to be my go-to, but now I feel like there's a lot more options with NYX and whatnot, so I'm going to pass this one along. I really do like it, but I just have lots of other options. Then I have this one from Wet n Wild. Why did they stop making like Vanity and the first ones that came out? Those were so good. Okay, maybe I need to hold on to this one more for some fall drugstore looks. We'll see. This one is actually Laura's, so obviously I have to keep it so I can give it back to her. But this is just a quad from L'Oreal. So we're going to be getting rid of 3 of these and then holding on to these guys here. And from Kat Von D, I have the Shade and Light eye palette. This is such a must-have in my opinion. As you can see, all of the shades are completely matte. This is like definitely an everyday palette. If you just wanted to add some shimmer, you could keep like a ColourPop shadow on the side, but I love this one. I'm definitely going to be holding on to this. This I actually got on clearance like after the holidays. I don't think it was last year, maybe the year before. It's called the Star-Studded Eyeshadow Book. I have had this for a while and I haven't even really used it. And I think it's because I put it like in the wrong drawer. So I kind of want to hold on to it just for at least 1 more month. And if I still don't use it, then pass it on, because I haven't even swatched some of these shades yet, but I definitely got like a major deal on this, so I do want to hold on to this one just so I can use it a bit more. Then I have these 3 palettes from Ciate. I think it's the Fun, Pretty, and Fearless palette. As you can see, it has this really cute little graphic on the front where it winks at you. So this is the fun one, and clearly it's made up of fun colors. Honestly, I would use more of these bottom shades as well as the center, more so than the ones on the top. They are really nice. I feel like they definitely go on the eyes better than they're swatching. This gold here and this kind of champagne tone are super metallic and just really vibrant. They're beautiful, but I don't get enough use out of the entire palette. So sadly, I think I'm going to pass this one along. Next up is the Pretty palette. As you can see, this one is cute and pink, and inside these shades are definitely more my, oh, I think I actually have the Fearless sleeve in here. These shadows are normally the ones that I gravitate towards more. I really love the matte kind of plums and purples in here. They're just super, super pretty, and that first really nice like high metallic shade is gorgeous. I'm going to hold on to that one, and then the final one is Fearless. I really like this one as well. This kind of like taupey purple shade here is beautiful, as well as this kind of pinky magenta one, and then we have a deep navy. I haven't heard too many people talk about these palettes, and I don't know why, because the formula is really nice. I actually just got the Chloe Morello one in the mail. I haven't even had a chance to play with it yet though, so I can't tell you much about it. So I'm going to hold on to these 2, but pass along the fun one. Next up, I have a ton of Too Faced palettes. I'm probably not going to be getting rid of too many of these. I have both the Chocolate Bar palette as well as the Semi-Sweet. Love both of these. I'm not really going to be swatching them just because there are so many videos on them. So I'm going to be holding on to both of those. Then I have the Chocolate Bonbons palette. Honestly, I haven't played with this one quite as much, but I think this is one that I'm going to pull aside, and if I don't really use it this month, then I will pass it along, but for right now, I do want to keep it. Then I have the Natural Matte Eyes. So you can see this one is just made up of all matte shadows. I'm going to put this one to the side for a second. Then we have the Natural Eyes. This was one of my first palettes from Too Faced, but when I had got it, it actually came in this packaging. I lost it, so then I ended up buying another one, or maybe I received it as PR, but I was super excited when I got it again just because I remember loving it. So I'm definitely going to keep this one. So back to the Natural Matte Eye. I have the Natural Matte Eye, but then I have this matte eye down here. Honestly, I like never use this one. I'm pretty sure I got this one on sale. Like, it's pretty, but I don't know. I just never reach for this. So I'm going to be passing this one along. I have the Natural at Night palette. I got this one on sale on the Too Faced site. I love the shades in this one. Night Fever is so pretty. It's just this green shade with like flecks of gold glitter in it. This is one that I need to use more. And I have the Cat Eyes palette. Honestly, these palettes like that come in the tins and these small boxes are harder for me to get rid of because I feel like that's Too Faced like true formula, whereas the holiday ones aren't really like the same, you know, quality that you typically get in like the permanent palette. So I do want to hold on to this one, as well as Peanut Butter and Jelly. This is such a cute palette. You guys know how I am about oranges. Then I have the Boudoir Eyes. This is another cool tone. I'm pretty sure I just butchered that name, but you know, whatever, it is what it is. I'm going to be keeping that. Then I have the A La Mode Eyes. I I feel like there's really only 3 or 4 shades in here that I really, really like. Like I love both of these two, as well as like these are nice as like face highlights. And like I said, the ones that come in this tin, I don't know, it's just hard for me to pass up. So judge me all you want, but I'm going to be holding on to those. We did get rid of this one here, so I mean, don't judge too hard. Then I have this palette. This was a Too Faced holiday one, and these ones just don't perform the same in my opinion. Like Honey Pot is such a gorgeous color, but I feel like typically Honey Pot is way more pigmented and buttery. This came out, I think, in, was it last year's set? I'm actually going to pass this one along. Then I have the Too Faced The Power of Makeup. This is the collab that just came out with Nikki Tutorials. While this is a nice palette, anytime I use it, I feel like I always have to go like with other palettes too. I don't know, this one is kind of like hard for me to just stick with this one. The black in here isn't quite as pigmented as I want it to be, but I do still like it. It's a palette that I want to play with more before I fully decide. This is another holiday palette. However, this one I feel like was one of the better Too Faced holiday palettes. Like I mentioned, a lot of the times, you know, these holiday kits, they won't be made the same. Like the formula will be different. However, this one I did find to perform pretty well. I do love this mauve-ish shade, so I am going to hold on to that one. Honestly, I wasn't really expecting to get rid of any Too Faced shadows, so I'm actually proud of myself for getting rid of 2 of them. And you know what? I was just looking back in my keep pile. I think I'm actually gonna go ahead and get rid of this Sigma one too. The first one that I said I was going to keep, that one, I don't know. I haven't used it in a while, so he needs to go too. Next up, I have 2 of these e.l.f. Prism eyeshadows. I have this one in Sunset, which is more like pinks and golds. I bought these for a haul. I did a best of e.l.f. video, and I wanted to try a lot of the palettes. They are nice, like for the price, but I don't think I love them as much as other people do. So I'm going to be getting rid of that one, as well as this one here, Naked. I know some people swear by this palette. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I have so many palettes, there's other ones that I love way more. So I'm actually going to get rid of both of these. Then I have 2 of these little Jello kit palettes from the brand Chongsunga 22. I did do a full Korean makeup haul. I'm still kind of playing with them and trying to figure out my final thoughts. So these ones I am going to hold on to. Next up, I have 3 of these sleek palettes. I'd gone to London, I think in like 2011, 2012, and picked up several of these just because everyone was raving about them. I haven't used this in forever. So this one I'm going to pass along. This one is in Garden of Eden. Ooh, there's actually some really pretty colors in there. This one I might hold on to because I honestly don't have too many green shadows and it would be something different. Then we have the Storm palette. I think this is one of the more popular ones. You have like this deep blue, green. There's a really pretty rose gold. The formula is really nice. Ooh. I don't know, you guys. I might actually hold on to both of these and then get rid of this one here. Next up, I have these Wild palettes from BH Cosmetics. There's Wild at Heart, Wild and Free, and then Wild Child. These work great applied wet as well. This one is probably my favorite. It's called Wild Child. So you have a cute peach, you have a gold, there's kind of like an olive shade in here. So you can see they are pigmented. I feel like they definitely apply better with your finger or used wet, like I mentioned. So I think I'm going to be keeping that one, but probably will pass along these other 2. This one is Wild at Heart. The purples in here are stunning. I've done several tutorials with them, and this color is also really pretty, but I just honestly haven't used these in forever. Don't get me wrong, the shadows are nice. Like, look at that one right there. But I just haven't used it in such a long time. So I'm sure this guy can find a new home, as well as this one here. This is the Wild and Free. This copper and this color right here. Oh, look at that copper. That like almost makes me want to keep it, but I know I have so many coppers. So I think out of the 3, I'm going to hold on to Wild Child and then pass along these 2 here. Next up, I have Makeup Forever. Here are some of my single artist shadows. Love these. We'll definitely be holding on to those. This is a palette that I actually just got through PR. It's a full matte palette. Haven't even used this one yet, so I'm definitely going to be holding on to that. Then I got this one in a swag bag. I think I've swatched it, but other than that, I haven't even used it yet. This is just the Artist palette. There's definitely gorgeous shades in there, but I've had this for I think 2 years now and I haven't used it, so this one can go. And then this is just the palette 15 Artist Shadows. The Makeup Forever Artist shadows are amazing. They are so pigmented. This is like a heavy duty palette too. So I'm going to hold on to this one. So keeping these three and getting rid of this little guy here. Next up, I have my Urban Decay palettes. This is the Pulp Fiction one. I'm pretty sure this one was limited edition. While the colors are nice, I think I've used this palette maybe 3 times. So I'm going to pass that one along. Next, I have my Naked palettes. There's the original, which clearly has been loved many times. Holding on to him, I got the Naked 3 from my friend Serene. Her channel is Dress Yourself Happy. I'll link it down below. Love this. That was so sweet and kind of her. She does awesome reviews. I love her. I think it's called Makeup Bag Mondays. She'll like review a handful of products that she keeps in her makeup bag, use them all week, and then give you like thorough reviews at the end of the week and her final thoughts. Love those videos. So her channel will be listed down below. You should definitely check her out. So she got me this, which I thought was so sweet. Then I have the Naked Smoky. I think I did a full tutorial with this palette as well. I'll be keeping that. Now, the Urban Decay Vice palettes aren't really my thing. I feel like people go insane in the membrane for these, and I'm just like, this one, the Vice 2, I think this one I did like, but honestly, I haven't used it in so long. Clearly, it's like a bulky packaging. I do like that it has like a full-size mirror. This one I think I will hold on to. However, this one, I think it's called like Shattered, or was it just Vice 3? I don't even know what it's called. I guess it's not even called Vice 3, it's just called Vice. I've used this maybe 2-3 times. I don't know, I'm just not that crazy about these palettes. Yeah, I'm not going to keep this because I never use it. I still have it like in the bag. So that one I will definitely be passing along. I have the Urban Decay Smoked palette. I really do like this one. I love the shade Mushroom. It's more of like a gray kind of taupey shade. And I have 2 of these mini holiday palettes that came out a couple years ago. This is the Anarchy Face Case. As you can see, there's some really pretty kind of like foiled pink and like high metallic shine silver shadows in here. This came with a liner and a lip pencil as well. This one I think I am going to hold on to just because, can we focus? There we go. I really like this pink and this silver. However, this one I am going to pass along. This is the Shattered Face Case. There is an Urban Decay Zero in here. Yeah, this hasn't even been used yet. I think I used this palette maybe 2 or 3 times, so I'm going to be getting rid of this one as well. I guess I should go ahead and get these out of the way. These are all of my Makeup Geek shadows. Clearly, I'm going to be keeping all of these. If you guys missed my recent video, I did my must-have Makeup Geek shadows where I covered all of these shadows here. I gave you guys swatches, names, everything. This is like my go-to Makeup Geek palette. We have the Makeup Geek and Manny MUA palette. Love this one. There's the Vegas Lights palette. You know what? I think I'm actually going to get rid of this one because I do have, I think, all of these shadows just like in the individual pan form. So this one actually can go. Then in here, there's just some more duochromes. There's some mattes. These are just kind of like mixed up. There's some more Makeup Geek shadows. Clearly, I have a thing for Makeup Geek. Hands down, some of my favorite formulas. There's a lot of my Makeup Geek foiled shadows in this one. The Makeup Geek matte collection. And then there's just some more. There's some duochromes, foiled, and mattes in this one. Okay, then I have Anastasia Beverly Hills. First up, this is the Self-Made palette. Laura actually gave me this one. Pink Champagne is my jam. That color is stunning. I haven't played with this too much, but I do love it, so I'm going to be keeping this one. There's the Artist palette. I love Orange You Fancy. I love Baby I'm a Star and Anaconda. Aubergine is also a really good one. These are nice. Then I have the Lavish palette as well. Honestly, out of these, I would say the Artist one is probably my least favorite, but I still get use out of it, and I really do like Anastasia Beverly Hills Shadow. So I'm definitely going to be keeping those. And of course, this one, this was in my Ride or Die video. The Modern Renaissance palette is hands down one of the best palettes if you're into like warms and oranges and berries. This is such a gorgeous palette. Then moving on to palettes where I only had like one from the brand. This is the Jaclyn Hill Becca palette. I really wanted to love this. Unfortunately, I think I was one of the few people that got one where the formula wasn't quite as good. A lot of my mattes are a bit chalky. Yeah, I used this like once or twice and I noticed that the formula wasn't the same. So this one I am going to be passing along. Then I had this one from Blend. This is just the Ultimate Eyeshadow Palette. These are nice and pigmented. As you can see, they're super smooth. They do have nice color payoff, but I never really reach for it. I really do like their brushes though, but I'm going to pass that one along. Then I have this one from YSL. Keegan actually brought this back. I forgot what trip he went on, which I thought was so sweet. So it definitely has sentimental value. So I'm going to be holding on to that one. I have this one from Laura Mercier. This is the Artist Palette. That's what it's called, right? I feel like that's wrong, but I can't think of what else the name would be. I'm pretty sure, isn't it Artist Palette? I think so. I love this one. If you love purples, this is definitely a must-have. I have this one from Estee Edit. I think I did a tutorial with this one. This one is kind of hit or miss. There's a couple that are really, really good, and there's others that don't perform quite as nicely, but I do like a lot of them. I like these topper shadows that you kind of can pop onto any shadow just to add a little bit more shimmer. So I am going to be holding on to that one. This one, however, I think I've been holding on to this just because it's Marc Jacobs. I have used this maybe once. This is the number 16 or 116, the Innocent. It is really pretty, but I think this is one that my mom could get a lot of use out of just because they're very nice, neutral, everyday colors. You have two mattes and then this shimmery shade here. So I think I'm going to set this aside for her. Then I have the Nubian 2 palette. I ordered this a couple months ago and I have been loving it. First of all, the size of the shadows are amazing. The pigmentation is incredible. The shade here, yeah. Look at that. It's like straight up an intense silver. We have Nefertiti, which is this gorgeous kind of like, honestly, that kind of reminds me of Kraft mac and cheese. Like if it went insane in the membrane with glitter. We have Sheba. All of these are stunning. I love this palette. Definitely going to be holding on to this one. Next up, I have some palettes from IT Cosmetics. I used to use this one all the time. This is the Naturally Pretty Celebration palette, and then there's this Naturally Pretty palette. I used to use this one a lot. I haven't really used it in a while. I think I'm going to hold on to this one, but pass this one along just because I know I'll get more use out of this. Then I have the IT Cosmetics Superhero palette. I haven't even used this one yet. I should try it, but I think I'm just going to pass it along to my mom. She loves IT Cosmetics. Like, she uses their CC Plus cream all the time. I got her hooked on it. Really, I just got fingerprints all over the mirror. So I think this is another one that I'm going to set aside for her. Then I have a couple of palettes from Coastal Scents. My nose is slowly getting congested again. It was getting better. This is one that I think they just built. I don't know if it has an actual name, so I'm guessing they just like threw, I think they're called hot pots for them, right? In here, I've used it once or twice. The shadows aren't bad by any means, but I just don't really get use out of it, so I'm going to be passing that along. Then there's the Revealed 2. These are very, as you can see, the shades are kind of like reminiscent to some of the Urban Decay shadows, like the layout and whatnot. This one is nice. There are some good dupes in here, but honestly, I rarely use it. So the Revealed 2 I'm going to pass along, as well as the Revealed 3. I'm sure I have a friend who can get some good use out of these, so those will be going. Then I have two of the Stila palettes. This is the In the Light palette. This used to be like holy grail status for me. Stila Kitten is such a gorgeous shadow. I feel like that's probably one of Stila's most well-known shadows. The eyeliner, I think Damsel came in here. It's their, what is it called? Oh, Smudge Stick Waterproof Eyeliner. Love that pencil. That's one that I eventually want to repurchase once I finish up some other brown liners. Love this. Definitely going to be holding on to this. And then there's In the Garden. I don't think they even make these palettes anymore. Now they do like the windows. This one clearly I really didn't use too much. While the shades are pretty, I just really didn't get too much use out of it. So this one I am going to pass along. Then I have this one from The Balm. This is the Nude Dude Volume 2. There are some really nice shadows in here, but I don't really reach for this that often. I mean, they are nice and soft. They do have pretty color payoff, but I'm going to pass this one along as well. If you guys watched my single eyeshadow declutter, I allowed myself to keep some of the NYX single shadows just for drugstore videos and whatnot. So these are the shadows that I decided to keep. So this palette I will be keeping. Then I have two MAC shadows, which I'll definitely be keeping. I have the Violet Voss shadows. The Drenched Metal one, this one I just wasn't that crazy about. I wanted to love it, and I don't know. I don't hate it, but I don't love it like the other two. So I think I'm actually going to get rid of this one, but I'm definitely keeping the Holy Grail as well as the Laura Lee. The Laura Lee palette is incredible. Like all the shades, the names, everything about this palette I'm in love with. The original Holy Grail palette, if you're into warms and cranberries and oranges, you are going to love this one. I don't know what it is about the Drenched Metal. I just didn't like the formula as much. Then I have a couple of other random palettes. This one here from Gorgeous Cosmetics. I haven't used this too much, but I think these are good shades that either my aunts or my mom could get good use out of. So I'm going to keep that one for them. I had the Smashbox Shape Matters. I really wanted to love this, but honestly, I feel like some of the shades are very similar. I don't know how I feel about this one. I think this one has to go. Yeah. Okay, then do not crucify me. I did not buy this Lime Crime palette. This one came in a swag bag and I think in BeautyCon, and I can't lie, I like them. I didn't buy it, so I don't feel quite as guilty. I know people have a lot of feelings about Lime Crime. Honestly, I haven't researched it enough to where I don't really know about it, but I know apparently they don't have good customer service. They're not very honest. I don't know. I'm not that educated on the whole Lime Crime debacle, but I can't lie. I do like these shades. I want to play with it more, so I am going to keep it. Then I have this palette from, is it Borghese? I haven't really heard anybody talk about this palette or brand before. I got it randomly in PR like several months back, and I just busted it out recently, and I have to say that I really do like these shadows. I do find myself having to go to like other palettes to reach for some other matte and transition shades, but these shimmer shades in here are really, really nice. So I am going to hold on to this one. Then I have this palette from Butter, if I can get it open. These are kind of like the buxom ones in the way you pop them in and out, right? If I could figure it out. I don't know. I can't figure it out right now, but they slide out and you can add other shadows in. I've had this for months now and I haven't used it once, so I'm going to give this one to a friend. Okay, then I have the Pure Love Your Selfie palette. So this was the first one. You get a mascara, a gloss, bronzer, blush, highlighter, and then 8 shadows. The shadows are nice, but this is another palette that I just really never use. So that's the original one, and then this is the Love Your Selfie 2. Once again, you get a mascara, there's like a lip. So I think I'm going to keep this one, play with it a little bit more, but I am going to be passing along the original Love Your Selfie. And finally, if you guys watched my YouTube Made Me Buy It video, some people were very heated that I said I wasn't that crazy about the Morphe palettes. It's not that I like hate them, I just gravitate towards my other shadows more. So there's the 35U, which is this one. I think I'm only gonna keep one of these. I've already gotten rid of like 4 or 5 Morphe palettes. This is the 35D. Ooh, I do like that this one's really smoky, especially that shade there. Okay, and then I think this is the, oh, this is a concealer palette. I swore I had the Jaclyn Hill one. I think I got rid of that one too. I don't know why this one's in here, but I guess it's a good thing because I need to get rid of this too. I'm going to get rid of this one and the concealer palette, but I think I'm going to hold on to this one just because I really like the smoky shades. All right, so here are all the palettes that I'm getting rid of. Honestly, I'm pretty proud of myself. I think I did a good job. That's 37 palettes. I said we started off with 80 something, so that's almost halfway. As I mentioned earlier, I get really attached to palettes. They're hard for me to get rid of, so 37, that's huge for me. So I'm excited. All of these will be finding a new home with either friends, family, whatever's left will probably be donated to the shelter. So yeah, I think I did a good job. If you guys would like to see more declutter videos, let me know which one you guys would like to see next. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and I will see you guys next time. Bye.